To say the least, Elon Musk's proposal to populate Mars is bold. SpaceX had to rethink present technology while also inventing new ones in order to achieve their aims. This is where the Raptor engine comes in. These methane-powered powerhouses may power Elon Musk's goal to reach Mars by 2024, all by themselves. Not to be confused with the Merlin engines utilized by SpaceX for their current launches on the Falcon 9 reusable rockets. The Raptor engines are being built particularly for SpaceX's spaceship, which will have a super heavy booster stage. This is a behind-the-scenes look at the crazy engineering that goes into SpaceX's Raptor engines. Rockets have a long history, dating back to about 200 years ago, but we'll be focused on rockets designed to transport people and goods into space from the modern era. Hello, and welcome to Inferno Rocket, where we'll keep you up to date on all things Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk. Let us journey back to 1898, when a Russian schoolteacher, Konstantin Zolotovsky, first suggests the insane notion of exploring space using liquid propellants in rockets. Zolotovsky was confident that the speed and range of a rocket were limited only by the exhaust velocity of departing gases, and he is regarded as the founder of modern astronomy for his foresight and thorough study. He was the first person to imagine attaching himself to a cylinder of flaming gases and escaping Earth's gravity. Several decades later, rockets were being developed all over the world. Rather than being utilized as spacecraft, they will be used as weapons. The foundations of constructing rocket engines would be further laid down by American engineers like Robert H. Goddard, and German engineers, like Hermann Oberth. After the two world wars, rocket technology began to develop into its own field of research. The space race was fueled by the Cold War, ushering in a new age of scientific advancement in the realm of rocketry. These rockets were created with the goal of achieving escape velocity and breaking away from the Earth's gravity. However, ascending Earth's gravitational well proved to be a tough endeavor. Then, on October 4, 1957, the Sputnik rocket defied gravity to launch the world's first artificial satellite, the Sputnik 1. Sputnik was a significantly modified version of the R-7 Semyorka ICBM used by the Soviet Union. Sputnik was the first satellite to demonstrate that it was feasible to go up the Earth's gravity well. The rest is history, as the United States developed its own Saturn V rocket, which would carry the first humans to the moon. Other countries, like as China, the European Space Agency, and India, began to join in with their own indigenous rocket designs as time went on. All of them were created with one goal in mind: to break free from the gravitational pull of the Earth. SpaceX has set its sights on Mars and is redesigning rockets from the ground up to get there. A new spaceship would be required to reach Mars and return. SpaceX began development of the Starship, previously known as the Large Falcon rocket, propelled by a completely new rocket engine, unlike anything accomplished before. All they required now was an engine to power all these rockets, which was a stainless steel alloy-based spacecraft backed by a booster stage called the Super Heavy. The initial decision made by SpaceX was to make the rocket reusable. SpaceX has long been interested in reusable rockets since they observed the huge expense of one-time use rockets that NASA was employing for its spacebound missions, and believed they were simply throwing millions of dollars of equipment into the oceans, when we are able to build and reuse technologies. Reusable rockets took several years and a boatload of sweat and blood for SpaceX to become a viable alternative. Falcon 9 rockets have now become the industry leader for reusable rockets. Following the success of the Falcon 9 and its Merlin engines, SpaceX chose to follow a similar reuse concept. When SpaceX promised to reinvent rocket engine technology, they meant it. Raptor was built on the full-flow stage combustion cycle, an unusual gas cycle that has only been utilized in experimental rocket technologies before, and Raptor would be the first engine to use this cycle in orbit. To put it another way, this cycle makes use of both oxidizer and fuel-rich pre-burners. By the way, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to our channel, where we keep you up to date on all the latest news from Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX. It only takes a few seconds to subscribe, And while you're there, if you could leave a like on the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Normally, it's one or the other, but the cycle enables both propellants to run freely through the turbines, hence the name. Because it has better control over the flow of the oxidizer and fuel, the Raptor engine can be more efficient than other rocket engines. Other advantages of employing a complete flow-stage combustion cycle include turbines that run cooler and at lower pressure. This is due to the greater mass flow, which results in enhanced engine life and dependability. And this was precisely what SpaceX was striving for with the engine that would power the Starship. A longer-lasting, more reliable engine that could be safely reused several times without needing to be serviced. The Raptor engine is presently rated for 25 flights, thus this will drastically reduce costs and downtime between launches. Imagine if the Raptor had not been designed with reusability and consideration. This would imply that 25 separate rockets will be utilized for the same missions, before being discarded. Another option for fueling the Raptor engine was to use cryogenic liquid methane. Again, this is an unusual design decision for a rocket engine. Most rocket engines use rocket propellant 1, or RP1, as their primary fuel. RP1 is just a refined form of jet fuel. In reality, prior SpaceX engines such as the Merlin engine on the Falcon 9 and the Kestrel engines both used RP1 as a fuel. So when SpaceX revealed that the Raptor will be powered by cryogenic liquid methane and liquid oxygen, it came as a surprise to SpaceX enthusiasts, but the company had decided to use methane as the primary fuel for the Raptor. The geological terrain and atmosphere of Mars are two of the major reasons SpaceX went through with this unconventional design decision. The Raptor, for example, was created particularly for starships and the Mars expedition. When NASA's rover expeditions to Mars revealed that the atmosphere on Mars contained massive volumes of CO2 in the air and copious amounts of frozen water on the ground, SpaceX discovered that they might theoretically manufacture methane on the Red Planet. If we could produce our own fuel on Mars, the spaceship wouldn't have to transport fuel on the way back. ISRU stands for In Situ Resource Use, a technique to use local resources to build a long-lasting infrastructure on an alien world. This is in keeping with SpaceX's goal of making Mars a self-sustaining colony that does not require assistance from Earth. Indeed, the saboteur process, which creates methane from carbon dioxide in water, also generates oxygen as a byproduct, which the colony will make use of. At the International Space Station, astronauts have previously utilized this tried-and-true method to create oxygen from water and remove carbon dioxide. While we're on the subject of water, some of you may be wondering why we can't utilize water instead of hydrogen to fuel the Raptor engines that will launch from Mars. To put it another way, while hydrogen is a more efficient fuel, it complicates rocket engines and rocket architecture. Liquid hydrogen requires severe temperature control, is more prone to leakage, and is less dense. As a result, a larger gasoline tank is required. SpaceX wants a rocket that is simple, inexpensive, and dependable. As a result, SpaceX chose a methane-powered engine over a hydrogen-powered engine. Methane burns with a brilliant blue flame, which contrasts sharply with the yellow flame seen in RP1 fueled engines. This gives the Raptor engine a distinct appearance. In August of last year, at the SpaceX Boca Chica facility, SpaceX first tested their Raptor engine on a SN5 Starship. In the hop test, a single Raptor engine lifted the SN5 to a height of 500 feet before safely landing. Following the completion of the first test, SpaceX conducted many more short hop tests in 2020. Then, on December 9, 2020, everyone came to see the first high-altitude test of the Raptor engine, which was placed aboard the spaceship SN8. At Boca Chica, Texas, SN8 was equipped with 3 Raptor engines and soared to the sky. It successfully rose to its intended height of 10 kilometers, but on the way back to land, one of the Raptor engines failed to restart, and the SN9 overturned on landing, resulting in costly fireworks. In later high-altitude testing, the Raptor engine would crash. Performed at Boca Chica in February and March. However, if we know anything about SpaceX, we know they aren't afraid of setbacks. SN-15 made history on May 6 when it successfully landed after a high-altitude test. It was a watershed moment in the history of human-powered spaceflight. Who's eager to see SpaceX as they develop the Raptor engine that will transport us to Mars? Let us know your thoughts on the topic in the comments section below. A quick reminder to subscribe to our channel. There's a link down below for more Tesla news and conjecture. If you want to learn more about Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk, we have 2 more video alternatives for you to watch on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more weekly news like this.